Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of voice of radio. So today we got a new EX to talk about. That is Tinkaton, that I know a lot of people are very excited about. And we've got ourselves a Palapa, and I'll be honest with you, thematically, Palapa and Tinkaton just don't really fit together. Well, maybe a little bit. We can link them a tiny bit. But really, I want to talk about Palapa. Palapa looks really good, and this is just an excuse to do so. Good. So with all of that borne in mind then, let's go and have a little bit of a look at Tinkaton EX. Now, everyone loves Tinkaton, one of the seemingly at least most popular Pokemon from Gen 9, and what we've got here is 300 HP on a Stage 2, which is about right, it seems. Oh, I should say, I did the translations here myself. Big shout out to lovely Antoine Boulet, with whom I did check. And then what we've got here is 2 energy, 30 damage for each card in your hand. Love it. Absolutely love it. If we can get it working. And that's the big if here. Because this is the hook of the card. There's another attack we'll have a look at in a minute. That's not the hook of the card. The hook of the card, very simply, is can you get enough cards in your hand? Now, it's 30 times, so essentially, if you can get like 10 cards in hand, 300 damage, and that's going to do basically everything you need to do, and that's kind of amazing. Job's a good un. But you need to actually do it, ladies and gentlemen. You need to actually do it. Now, one thing which is very important to remember here, the other Tinkaton. Remember, there is a Tinkaton in Triple Beat, and frankly, the synergy here is kind of beautiful. Because the Tinkaton in Triple Beat's got that ability, lets you discard a card from your hand and draw 3 cards once per turn. Now, that's a +2, essentially. So you discard 1 card, -1, draw 3, +2. So, if you play a mix here, and remember it's the same evolution line, they're all going up at the same Stage 2, and do remember that you've also got the deal whereby Tinkaton and Tinkaton EX have different names, so you can potentially play up to 4 Tinkaton and up to 4 Tinkaton EX if you feel the need to do so. Not sure you want to, but it is an option if you're there. And this could actually work quite nicely. If you can get enough cards in hand, you're rolling. And this is kind of beautiful, honestly, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of beautiful. But the real question is, can you make this consistent enough? Because it's not like we've never seen an attack like this before. Galarian Berserker V, 20 damage for each card in your hand. Now, admittedly, this is 30, not 20. But Galarian Berserker is a basic, not a Stage 2. And I don't know, maybe the extra damage here is going to make that much of a difference. But we do need to bear in mind, we have seen cards like this, honestly, for a while now. And it's not really been great. We've not seen cards like this, really just smashing the metagame. It's just not been a thing that's happened. And if you're doing this, we need straight draw. It needs to be proper draw, not mucking about with drawing until you got X number of cards in hand, etc. It needs to be full-on draw. And that's going to be potentially a little bit of a problem because straight draw cards are just, well, they're not as good, honestly, ladies and gentlemen. They're just not as good. Now, weirdly enough here, I actually like Faulkner here quite nicely. I mean, this is, again, it's another card from Triple Beat that's just draw 2 cards. If you have a stadium in play, draw 2 more cards. So you get yourself any kind of stadium that can get you extra cards. And then all of a sudden, Faulkner could be a bit of a draw. Combine it with Tinkaton, and I don't know, maybe this can be what gets you to a big hand size here. I mean, certainly Gift Energy is one that I have absolutely got my eye on here, because Gift Energy after a KO lets you draw until you've got 7 cards in your hand. Now, that was in Lost Origin, so that's going to be around for a while yet. And maybe we can use, that to reset your hand to 7. And then we've got, you don't really need much at that stage. A simple draw 3 supporter will put you up to 10. Although do bear in mind then you're going to be playing some cards from your hand. So you're going to need a few. But if you've got, a Tinkaton out and a supporter which draws cards combined with Gift Energy, maybe that's going to work. Maybe that can be the thing. But if you can get this working, This is really, 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 really good, and I like it very, very much indeed. As for the second attack, less exciting, free energy, 140, and not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. Yeah, fine, don't really care, that's alright, we'll be fine. It's nice to have as an emergency attack if you've got something blocking you, but it's nothing more than that, I'm afraid. Although, actually, to go back to the first attack just for a second, I do need to point out explicitly, this is colourless energy, so you can play this with absolutely anything. It is nominally a psychic Pokemon, but you don't actually need to have psychic energy with this deck for it to work. I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies, but I don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. This is an example of a card that I really want to work, but it will remain to be seen whether it can. But hey, how about that Palapa? I like Palapa. Now, it's not for the colourlessness, because let's face it, colourless is kind of dull, you're not hitting for weakness. It's not for the free energy 90, which, to put it bluntly, is absolutely terrible. It's for the ability. And what the ability does here, very nicely indeed, is it lets you grab a supporter card when you evolve into it, either from your discard pile or your deck. So you either search your deck for one, great, or you get one from the discard pile, great. And the combination of that is really, really important. The combination of the two of those is really, 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 really important, because sometimes there's a supporter card you really want to get from your deck, and other times there's a supporter card you really want, but you've run out of it and they're stuck in your discard pile. And the fact that you can go and do either here is actually sneaky huge. Because we've got the Altaria, the one that came around originally in Evolving Skies, and that lets you go for a supporter card from your deck, but it goes on top of your deck rather than into your hand, and it can't get them from the discard pile. Although it is also got to be borne in mind that this is an every turn, not a when you evolve into it. Or we can look at Bayonet from Lost Origin, that lets you grab a supporter card from your discard pile, but then you got to Lost Zone it, which can actually be a bonus because you're getting cards in the Lost Zone. But then, also by the same token, it's got to be from the discard pile, not from your deck. We had Meowstic from Silver Tempest, that when you evolve into one of your Pokemon, you can grab 2 supporter cards, but they've got to be from the deck, not from your discard pile. And that's kind of my point here. We've got a bunch of Pokemon that have done this, but none of them have done it quite as well as Palapa has. And that's when I start getting a little bit excited, because the fact of the matter is, being able to get it either from your deck or from your discard pile is absolutely huge. But then I've got to point out here, and this is very important, we've lost Scoop Up Net. And the fact that we've lost Scoop Up Net is actually a sneaky, very, very big deal. Because Scoop Up Net lets you pick up one of your Pokemon and put it into your hand. So, of course, what you do here is you pick this up, put it into your hand, and then you can evolve it again. And if you've got to shop it on the bench, then essentially Scoop Up Net turned into whatever supporter you like, either from your deck or from your discard pile. And that's brilliant. But it's not, because Scoop Up Net's rotated out. And I don't, incidentally, think it's a coincidence that we're getting cards like this right as Scoop Up Net rotates out. I'm rather thinking that the card designers are going, well, because we don't have Scoop Up Net, because with Scoop Up Net, I do think this could arguably be a little bit too good. I think this could actually be just basically a staple in every deck if we had Scoop Up Net. And sure, the evolution could be a problem with the format we're in at the moment, which is not necessarily kind to evolution decks. But the fact that Scoop Up Net can turn into any supporter from your deck or your discard pile, yeah, that's kind of broken, ladies and gentlemen. That's kind of broken. But it's only a one-shot deal, and then it becomes way, way more awkward to actually get using. Of course, Cheren's Care is still a thing, but Cheren's Care is a supporter, so that kind of makes it a little bit of a moot point, if I'm honest with you. Hey-ho. Still not terrible, but certainly not like it could be. I'm giving this a nice solid 4 Wassies. I do think this is a really good card, but I also think we need to point out that if we still had Scoop up there, this could be so much better. But I still would not be surprised to see this seeing a whole bunch of play. And we're actually going to finish off with a new item card here because we might as well. It is Delivery Drone. Now, I'm translating the cards very nicely by myself. The names I'm struggling a little bit with here. However, this one I actually got by myself and I'm absolutely delighted. Flip 2 coins. If both of them are heads, search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. If you flip double heads, this is obviously absolutely phenomenal. We all saw how great computer search was and how much, play that saw. And that you had to discard 2 cards from your hand, and it was an ace spec, so you could only play 1 in your deck, and that's one of any ace spec, not just computer search. So obviously searching any card on an item card is absolutely broken. But it's going to work approximately 1 out of every 4 times. That's on average. Which means if I play the full complement of 4, I expect 1 of them to actually work. And that means I can't really justify playing this in my deck. If you're playing a ridiculous speed deck, where you're only really playing like 45, 50 cards, and the rest of the deck is just trying to make your deck as fast as humanly possible, Delivery Drone's great. If you're going for absurd speed decks, Delivery Drone is absolutely amazing. Outside of that, great gimmick, but way too unreliable to ever take seriously. So let's give it 3 Wassies. And there we go. Those are the new cards, and now it's over to you guys. I want to know what you think about Tinkaton. I want to know what you think about any of these. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord and chat with us, and all kinds of fun things. Oh, and get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Dark1313, who's been a supporter of ours for a while and is a very lovely person. So, yeah, thanks for support and for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.